disaster opportunists, which is exactly right. Disaster tourists.
A source close to the Sussexes told People magazine, their favorite outlet here in the United States, the couple are pro-family and pro-children, and their philanthropic work reflects this value.
Pro-family? Pro-family?
Describing Harry and Meghan as pro-family, that feels strangely ironic when they've actively destroyed at least true. Pro-family in theory, in practice results.
I'll see a family who are able to come and go to the UK in a more kind of free and less...
Just stay put in that $29 million estate of yours. Simple as that. Meghan Markle just spent 48 hours in Jordan acting like she was on a diplomatic mission. She kicked a ball around with refugee kids and celebrated scoring a goal against a child half her size. She took a seat at a WHO roundtable as though she'd just walked off a hospital ward. And the Jordanian Royal Family, a family she and Harry once publicly claimed as dear friends, refused to see her. Not for 5 minutes, not for a snapshot, not even a brief nod through an aide. Queen Rania was nowhere to be found. King Abdullah acted as though the visit never happened. The silence coming from the Jordanian palace said far more than anything Meghan uttered in Amman. And here's the part nobody saw coming. She turned up wearing the exact same top that Kate Middleton had worn just 2 weeks before, in a country where Kate genuinely spent her childhood years. You truly cannot make this up, yet here we are. So this is how yet another Sussex goodwill tour managed to transform itself into yet another textbook case of completely self-inflicted embarrassment, and why this same pattern keeps repeating itself over and over again, like a story no one ever thought to change.
Since they touched down in Jordan and visited a specialty hospital in Amman, where Meghan, very much in Diana mode, Diana wannabe mode.
The news broke at midnight, Jordan local time, less than 24 hours before the plane ever touched the runway in Amman. No diplomatic groundwork, no advanced media itinerary, no communication with the British government, no communication with the palace. Just a press statement dropped into empty space while most of the Middle East was fast asleep and most of Fleet Street was still busy covering Andrew.
Instead, in the midst of the biggest royal crisis in a century, these two grifters and fake have decided this is the moment to embark on a new fake royal tour, this time of the Middle East, where she's literally trying to claim she's the queen of the desert in Jordan.
Let that timing sink in for a moment. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor had been taken into custody just days prior on suspicion of misconduct in a public role. Thames Valley Police had confirmed the detention. The BBC was running round-the-clock coverage. Buckingham Palace was in full damage control. King Charles had referred to his own brother as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor in an official statement, not as my brother, not as the Duke. The most significant royal controversy in a generation was consuming every front page across the United Kingdom. And directly into that storm, right on cue, Harry and Meghan surfaced in Jordan alongside a World Health Organization delegation, cameras following their every move.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles. Let them go off and be, celebrities, that's fine. But don't do it in the name of our royal family.
Tom Sykes over at the Daily Beast ran a piece with a headline that said everything. He described the Jordan visit as a source of deep embarrassment for King Charles. He made the case that it demonstrated Charles no longer holds authority over his own family, that order within the monarchy has broken down, and Buckingham Palace is powerless to put an end.
They say you can choose fame, but you can't choose family. Yet Meghan Markle seems to think she can.
All they had to do was shut up and do nothing. And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were probably going to get their best news cycle in years, because we know deep down they want to bring down the British royal family.
Dan Wooten went even further on his outspoken program. He labeled it a counterfeit royal tour and delivered a line that spread like wildfire across social media. All they needed to do was stay quiet for a couple of weeks. That was it. Pure silence. Remain at home, let the Andrew situation run its course. But silence has never been what the Sussexes stand for. The brand is about appearing precisely when nobody wants them, in precisely the location that causes the greatest possible disruption, and
that causes maximum disruption, and calling it charity.
This is a pattern for her. It's not about charity. It's about her image.
Now let's discuss the wardrobe, because either Meghan's styling team operates the most incompetent research department in celebrity fashion, or they possess the sharpest sense of irony on the entire planet. She stepped off the aircraft in Jorden dressed in a white button-down from a label called With Nothing Underneath. The particular style, the boyfriend fine poplin. Lovely shirt, polished appearance. One minor issue. Kate Middleton had worn the identical shirt, same label, same design, 2 weeks prior at Castle Hill Academy in England. Kate had worn hers in blue. Meghan wore hers in white. Same shirt, same month.
There's this ludicrous couple just pretending to do a royal tour. God knows what it's all about except for chasing headlines and saying, hey, anything William can do, we can do better. It's pathetic. It's really pathetic.
The news broke at midnight, Jordan local time, less than 24 hours before the plane ever touched the runway in Amman. No diplomatic groundwork, no advance media itinerary, no communication with the British government, no communication with the palace, just a press statement dropped into empty space while most of the Middle East was fast asleep and most of Fleet Street was still busy covering Andrew.
Who just went off on these, what did she call them? Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself, and I include Harry in that. She cares about her image. That's why she's there.
Meghan Markle just spent 48 hours in Jorden acting like she was on a diplomatic mission. She kicked a ball around with refugee kids and celebrated scoring a goal against a child half her size. She took a seat at a WHO roundtable as though she'd just walked off a hospital ward. And the Jordanian Royal Family, a family she and Harry once publicly claimed as dear friends, refused to see her. Not for 5 minutes, not for a snapshot, not even a brief nod through an aide. Queen Rania was nowhere to be found. King Abdullah acted as though the visit never happened. The silence coming from the Jordanian palace said far more than anything Meghan uttered in Amman. And here's the part nobody saw coming. She turned up wearing the exact same top that Kate Middleton had worn just 2 weeks before, in a country where Kate genuinely spent her childhood years. You truly cannot make this up, yet here we are. So this is how yet another Sussex goodwill tour managed to transform itself into yet another textbook case of completely self-inflicted embarrassment, and why this same pattern keeps repeating itself over and over again, like a story no one ever thought to change.
First picture of Meghan, and I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, she kind of looks like a dude. And that's not to actually be rude, but how Meghan Markle's body is composed and the outfit that she chose actually screams masculine, not feminine. So guys, here is this particular outfit. If you look at it from this and you didn't know who that was, I would honestly think man. I really would.
You're living in America now, and we couldn't care less about you. You hold no royal title here. You'll never wear the crown. Nobody likes your spouse. Just stay put in that $29 million estate of yours. Simple as that.
Harry and Meghan don't tend to pop up unless they are taking advantage of the situation here. They wanted their name in the headlines, and then to come across looking compassionate and now this trying to come across like they actually care about other people. You can just see Meghan in every frame, in every photograph, positioning herself, checking where the camera is, checking has she got her right angle. Her brain is just constantly processing, is she in shot? Is this the best shot? And Harry just doesn't look like he's processing anything. He looks utterly miserable, completely checked out.
Colombia, August 2024. An identical playbook, almost mirrored line for line. Another unannounced trip, another Archwell Foundation tie-in. The invitation came from Vice President Francia Marquez, not the president, not the administration as a collective body, but a vice president carrying her own political motivations, one who stood to gain from the Sussex platform just as much as they gained from her association. No communication with London, no clearance from Bogotá's foreign ministry through established diplomatic channels. The same headlines followed, the same wave of criticism surfaced, and the same...
She doesn't know how to play football, so her leg was all sort of awkward. But nonetheless, she did it, so she get people to look at her. But she did look very, very scared and worried about the people who were very ill. It's just ridiculous.
Had Jorden been an isolated incident, it could easily be dismissed as misfortune, a one-time misstep, poor timing, unfortunate circumstances, nothing more. But it was not a first occurrence. It was the third time in under 2 years, and the pattern is strikingly consistent each time. Nigeria, May 2024. A surprise announcement with little to no advance notice. No British government involvement, no coordination with the Crown. Harry and Meghan touched down in Abuja and Lagos, armed with cameras, Archwell branding, and a densely packed itinerary of engagements that looked, sounded, and were captured on film like a state visit, yet carried none of the institutional authority that legitimizes one. The Nigerian media received them warmly. The British press dismissed it as a calculated publicity exercise. Critics labeled it a quasi-royal tour. The Sussexes themselves called it
Harry has the exact same look. He looks traumatized. He looks completely exhausted all of the time. He looks very, very unhappy. Yes, he can plaster on a smile as of when it suits, but the smile hasn't met his eyes for a very long time. He complained that he felt like his life was part of the Truman Show and the royal family got him to perform. What does he think his wife's doing to him? But it's okay now because she gets paid for it.
3 days later, Meghan was spotted in khaki trousers and what appeared to be Kate's shirt, cheering a penalty kick alongside a displaced child at a refugee camp that the Jordanian Royal Family notably chose not to acknowledge. 2 women, 1 week, one draped in a queen's diamonds at a star-studded film premiere alongside Hollywood's finest, the other borrowing her sister-in-law's blouse in a country that seemed indifferent to her presence. Had a screenwriter submitted this contrast as a Netflix pitch, they would have been turned away for making it far too obvious.
He arrives at the BAFTAs. Somebody said, oh, you know, have you seen this movie? And he said, I'm not in the... You need to be in a calm mood for that. I'm not in a calm state. And that's extraordinary for a royal to say something like that. That is indicative of what I suspect the whole royal family are feeling right now.
She appeared to be wearing her Oscar de la Renta embellished heels, paired once again with the Queen's Greville earrings and a diamond bracelet originally belonging to Queen Mary. William stood by her side, dressed in a deep red velvet dinner jacket. Kate Hudson was in attendance, along with Emma Stone, Kerry Washington, and Monica Bellucci. It was precisely the kind of evening that portrays the British monarchy as everything it aspires to be, poised, culturally relevant, and serenely untouched by the surrounding chaos.
This is their third weird pretend royal tour. They went to Nigeria, they went to Colombia, and now they've gone to Jordan, to the Middle East. What is this all about?
Well, I think they'd know they'd been in papers and people would say, oh my goodness, they've come, aren't they good, aren't they kind? But I don't think they're either good or kind. I think they want attention. I wonder who's going to pay for it. We don't know.
This is the question that no one within the Sussex public relations machine has managed to answer across 3 trips and 2 years. If these tours are genuinely rooted in a desire to help people, refugees, healthcare access, mental well-being in conflict-affected regions, then why does every single one get revealed at the 11th hour, consistently timed around a royal controversy, and executed without the participation or endorsement?
They're under investigation for who paid for their trips, their first-class airfares and their trips to Colombia and Nigeria. If they're taking this charity money and spending it on their airfares for these weird pretend royal tours, that isn't right.
3 tours, 3 nations, 3 continents, and 3 outcomes that played out in precisely the same way. Enthusiasm from the hosting parties who capitalized on the visibility, complete silence from the royal households that actually hold governing authority, and a wave of criticism from every media outlet that does not happen to sit on the Archwell distribution list.